Hi folks, this is all the fruit. I'm in Heidelberg in Germany, the first days of April. And foraging for fruit in April in the temperate German climate is, to put it mildly, a challenge. Actually, I guess 99% of German foragers would tell you that, March and April, basically, you cannot forage for fruit. You have to forage for stuff like leaves and roots and tubers and bulbs and flowers. Well, challenge accepted. This video will be about different Solanum species. What is Solanum? Well, basically, nightshade is the English name, and Solanum fruit are basically tiny tomatoes. Some species are toxic when ripe. Pretty much all species are kind of toxic when green, so be careful when foraging for Solanum. Actually, there was more or less a consensus that all Solanum species are toxic even when ripe in Germany, but in other countries they have been eaten for millennia, and those people have survived eating those plants. Actually, in Africa, they even use the bitter Solanum leaves as a spinach substitute. Well, I already made a couple videos on foraging for Solanum fruit in Germany in March. Let me remind you, Solanum luteum, the plants were completely dead. Solanum luteum or villosum, the correct name now is Solanum villosum, subspecies villosum. The plants were completely dead, but you could find slightly withered or wilted fruit. Solanum nigrum, I found it in some locations in the city, in city streets, where the plants were pretty much completely intact and they had a lot of fruit. You could forage basically handfuls of fruit or a couple square meters. They were less sweet than in summer, more savory, because they got less sun. But hey folks, savory little tomatoes you could forage in the wild in March in Germany. That's not too bad. Well, here on those construction sites, there are basically three different Solanum species. Solanum villosum, subspecies villosum or luteum, grew 100 meters away from here. But I'm in this specific location because of the rare Solanum nitidibaccatum. Most Solanum species you find in Germany, you only find them in the warm, mild areas of southwestern Germany, like for example in Heidelberg. And even Solanum villosum, subspecies villosum, is a Heidelberg specialty. Like maybe half of all the records in this part of Germany are from Heidelberg. Well, but now let's look at Solanum nitidibaccatum and Solanum nigrum. Solanum nitidibaccatum is a very rare fruit, growing mostly in the area of Mannheim in Germany. Heidelberg is very close to Mannheim, so on this construction site in Heidelberg, on this little south-facing slope, which protects from northern wind and mirrors and reflects the sun from the south, there is a small population of Solanum nitidibaccatum. Now I have to be careful not to confuse it with Solanum nigrum, because Solanum nigrum is also growing here, as is Solanum villosum. Let's look around. This is a Solanum nigrum. Here we have Solanum nitidibaccatum. Two plants of it, to be precise. Let's see, can we see the big calyxes which are... No, even where the berries have fallen away, the calyxes have also rotted away or fallen away. But as you can see, there is not a single black berry on this one. Even the ripe berries, when they were ripe, they were shining greenish color. Nitidibaccatum means basically with shiny berries. Now they are like, whitish, brownish and dried up. How dried up? You can see here, look, I can basically pulverize them. So this, I wouldn't dare to identify it as Solanum nitidibaccatum if I hadn't identified it in summer, but it's quite obvious that this is not Solanum nigrum. So here's Solanum nitidibaccatum. Let's try the fruit. They don't look edible, unlike the luteum and nigrum fruit. It's like eating sawdust. The plants are completely dead, as you can see. Completely dead. Those plants coming around here are completely different plants. This is Senecio and Conuzza. Well, now let's look at Solanum nigrum. Here we have a Solanum nigrum plant. I checked it a little bit earlier and it looked dead. Nigrum means black, and here are the black berries. Then some of them are not even shriveled up. The plant may be dead, but the berries are plump and still edible. Always be careful with nightshade berries. There are a lot of toxic nightshades, and actually some people think all nightshade fruit are toxic. Actually, for centuries people thought that tomatoes are toxic, but now the whole world is eating them. So, yeah, savory. Tastes like a tomato, or like something flavored with monosodium glutamate, because it is natural occurring monosodium glutamate. When I checked this plant, I broke it off, and look here at the base, the stem still looks alive. So when I checked at the base, the above ground parts might have mostly died, but look, there is new stuff coming up, which shows very well how Solanum nigrum is more frost resistant than Solanum nitidibaccatum, because Solanum nitidibaccatum is completely dead, including the underground parts. When I looked around a little bit more, I saw here, look, another Solanum nigrum, even in this very open location, but on the south-facing slope, and only on the lower parts, on the lower protected parts of the south-facing slope, Solanum nigrum survived the winter quite well. On the upper parts, nothing, but on the lower protected parts, look, new growth. You could basically collect the stuff as spinach, already starting to flower. Solanaceae flowering in April in Germany. Here, even a small branch survived from last year. This is old growth, while this is growth from the last few weeks. And look, from the north it might be protected by the south-facing slope, but from the south, no protection at all. Here, another plant which survived quite well, another one, another one, another one. So we have confirmed that Solanum nigrum is much more tolerant to frost than rare species like Solanum luteum, or Solanum villosum subspecies villosum, or Solanum nitidibaccatum, because A, there are plants in sheltered locations of Solanum nigrum which have survived without much damage, and even in this moderately sheltered location we could find edible Solanum nigrum berries, as well as edible Solanum nigrum leaves, and as well as the first new flowers of the new year. Well, Solanum nitidibaccatum, well, yes, this is a Solanum nitidibaccatum. The plants are completely dead. The berries have died so long ago, the plants have died so long ago that the berries are completely dried up and basically taste like sawdust. No leaves to forage, no berries to forage, no flowers, no nothing. Well, that's the reason why a lot of those, well, basically all of those rare subtropical Solanum species only grow in the warmest and most urbanized areas of Germany. So folks, if you want to forage for Solanum in April and you live in some of the milder areas of Germany, you might get lucky in cities like Mannheim and Frankfurt and Karlsruhe and maybe even Stuttgart. But I guess if you live somewhere in the Bavarian or East German countryside, I think there is no chance for Solanum plants or berries to have survived the winter there. So folks, those were some almost but not quite dead Solanum nigrum and some really dead Solanum nitidibaccatum plants and berries. Stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the beautiful city of Heidelberg, and don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.